Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about housing units and why housing is a great time to be in right now, why buying makes sense for you. Let's get started. Hi, super glad that you're here with us today. We're going to be talking about housing units, why now is a good time, why it's a great hedge against inflation to own a home. So as we get started and we start rolling, I think that it's important that we establish that when we look at single family housing units completed and we look at 1970 to now, so we're taking a lot of historical data, we have, and please see this slide, we'll insert it here. So as we look at this slide, what we're seeing is that since 1970, this is what we have in housing starts, right? We're above the average in housing units completed. And then we have this period of 2004, 5, 6, 7, where we're skyrocketing, right? Our numbers are off the chart. And then as we all remember, we came back down. So since that point in time, we are currently in a 14 straight years below the 50-year average for the number of units in single family that we're completing. This is what's leading to some of the challenges that we're having. We hear on a daily basis, buyers are frustrated because there's not enough houses. Sellers are a little frustrated because their house sells super quick and then they got to figure out where they're going to be going. And so we're seeing this component of stress or uncertainty, if you will, anxiety, if you will, because we're still below. With all of the things changing in the current market, we are still on a 14-year low for the number of homes that we're completing, and buyer demand is still outweighing the amount of inventory that we have. So I want to switch just a little bit into why home ownership. Well, here's why. It's a great hedge against inflation. As we see inflation numbers coming up, as we see home prices coming up, as we see appreciation continuing to increase, and what we know is historically appreciation outruns the inflation, which means we're putting equity into the property as opposed to taking it out. It's a great hedge. So if you have money, if it's sitting in the bank account, instead of losing to inflation, it's a great time to put it as a down payment, buy an investment property, use it as a rental income property, buy a primary residence. But ownership of real estate is a great hedge against inflation. We're seeing numbers that are really working in the favor of the homeowner right now. So if we look at the inflation rates in 2021, we were right in that 6.5%. We were closer to 18% appreciation. Now we're going to see that a little bit more as we go through 2022 because our inflation number is hitting a little bit higher. We have had some periods of time where it's up, and we are seeing an impact in households and their disposable income and their savings and what's happening there, the relationship there. So as you look at why you should own, keep in mind it's a great hedge. We look at the home pricing forecast for 2022 and we take the average of all of the forecasters that are forecasting what's happening in the market. And there's really 7 big players there. They're all forecasting somewhere around 6.7%. CoreLogic showed it at 9.6. Zelman showed it at 3, and there's a bunch in between those two. But if we take the average, they're saying our average of all 7 are going to increase with home prices in 2022 by 6.7%. So as we look at this, as we look at some of the updates that are related to that, as we look at home sales and the average days on market, it's still really strong. We've still got a lot of stuff going as far as inventory that's moving. It's coming on, but it's moving quick. There's still a ton of buyer demand. Existing home sales are up year over year since 2014. Every year we've continued to climb. There was one big valley, if you look at the chart, that really was the pandemic. Things kind of tanked off and then shot straight back up. So as we look at that, it's still a good time to be buying and selling. If we break the US up into the Northeast, the Midwest, the South, and the West, Utah being considered in the West, we're seeing that year over year in our region, we're down in existing home sales by 8.8%. Now on a hyper local level, some of those markets we're seeing up because of the demand of people that are moving in for whatever reason they're being drawn here. Work, family, retirement, whatever it is, we're seeing that. I'm giving you an overall number when I say we're a little bit down. So we're seeing that in the existing home sales. As we look at new home sales, everything that's being built is pretty much selling, and we're not holding enough inventory, again, to level off and balance the market. So we're seeing that there's still a lot of demand within the new home sales, and those numbers are all up. If we look at them and we annualize them over the last couple of years, we're increasing. So as new home sales go up, as we look at the total number of home sales, pending home sales, which we've talked about on another episode, it's important that we recognize that because of demand and supply issues, that we're not seeing the same number of distressed property sales that we have in the past. Distressed sales in 2000, as of February of this year, so as of February of 2022, we were seeing a 1% of the sales in the US that were based on distress, compared to 2008, 9, and 10, when a lot of them were distressed. So we're still really low. 4% is what's expected. That's what they would say is a normal healthy, and we're down in that 1% range. So we're still seeing that people have equity, that they're using and leveraging in other ways, or that they can afford the home. They're not buying homes that they really can't afford. They're within the tolerance that's necessary to be able to afford it. So as we look at home prices, we're still seeing an increase in home prices. Obviously, we've experienced some big jumps over the last couple of years, but we're still currently seeing an increase. And as it's forecasted, we're looking at that 6.7% as we go through 2022 for an increase, just looking at the average across the United States. So inventory, again, going back to sellers coming on market and providing inventory. Inventory is, we're at a low, right? 2011 to today, we are at an all-time low of inventory. We have more buyers in the market than we have people willing to sell. We're not completing enough homes as we've established before. So we're seeing a low in the inventory of number of homes that are available to sell, providing a seller's market and an opportunity, if you're thinking about selling, to really have the right strategy and accomplish the goals that you're looking to do. We're going to continue to see buyer demand increase because people want to own homes. We're going to continue to see mortgage rates increase. And there's some strategies there. For example, we could deploy sellers contributing to a buy down to get the rate to be a little bit more affordable. Prices still stay up. Buyers are able to win. Strategy that we can talk about one-on-one, but it is an option. We are seeing growth, right? We are seeing increases in mortgage rates. We're going to continue to see that. We're going to continue to see affordability. We're going to continue to see the increase of requirements within lending so that standards stay strong, so that the integrity of the loan that's being made can remain strong, and buyers are not put in a harmful situation by buying homes that they truly can't afford. We saw that once before. We're not going to repeat that. We're going to continue to be strong as we move through the market. And as always, you need to be looking at who do you want to work with, because who you work with matters. And now more than ever, the strategies that you strategize on, that you deploy, that you execute on are going to make a difference in your long-term financial future. So now more than ever, your strategy rules. If there's any questions, please make sure you comment below, send us a DM, let us know how we can help. We want to make sure that you're moving forward into the most powerful situation possible. Thanks so much for being here. Have a great day.